at TV47 KE. This guest, none other than PMG Kamau, who's a governance expert, and we also have Njuguna Mwangi, who's equally a governance expert. And so we will be looking at that as we proceed with the conversation, as of course there's so much to look at. What do we have? Let's take a look at what it is that has been captured on the papers. I don't know why we decided just to lose this. Mr. Marcus tampered with my page, but all the same, we'll get it. Just a moment, gentlemen, so we try and get this. But meanwhile, you can say hi to the people, gentlemen. Julius, we start with you.
All right. Thank you very much, Madam Leader. I want to thank you for having me today. Yes. It's a very good morning, actually. This week has been quite busy for many of us, and we thank God that He has really kept us safe, and at least now we can say we are moving on very well. I think I just want to take this opportunity to say hi to our viewers and welcome you to this morning show. And I'm sure through our discussion we are going to help each other, at least shape guide each other in terms of how our nation is being managed, and we shall really be in a position to see the right. Yes. Because I know Kenyans are really waiting, are really confused because of the ongoings in the nation, especially in matters of politics and governance. So I'm sure by the end of this discussion, we are going to have a better way of understanding the situations in our country. Indeed, and I have my papers ready, but not before I allow Senior to say hi to the people. What was Sauti?
I greet in the name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ every single person in the diaspora who is watching the fastest growing TV station.
Thank you.
T47.
Thank you for saying that.
Yeah, TV47. The people from Kandara, where I was born and brought up, we thank God that they are rocking their countries in Britain and everywhere else, and coronavirus in Kenya is growing down every day. We thank the Lord because it is not that we are more obedient in terms of a protocol than any other, but it's simply because God loves us. Do not be proud about anything else, but God loves the African. I thank you. You pray that this country is gain sanity, the politicians gain sanity, because we are going to look like people. When people fight in a funeral service, then the devil is getting control. Yeah.
And of course we will condemn that in the strongest terms possible. We have, and we continue to condemn the same, because indeed it is not a good thing to see. And as we look at the papers now, so much is happening in the world of politics. Looks like President Uhuru Kenyatta is now out here piano against his DP, who's out there at the coast, politicking and also trying to sell his agenda to the people of the coast. But yesterday, in President Moise, that is the former president, may his soul rest in eternal peace, a memorial service, President Uhuru Kenyatta came out guns blazing, in a polite way, reminding the people of how Moi was quite a good leader, serving the nation and serving his own father, with utmost of discipline, which probably could contradict what it is that is happening right here between him and his DP. He says, is this the end of Uhuruto? This is what the Daily Nation is asking. President Kenyatta told leaders to emulate Moi, who as vice president respected Kenyatta, has said it's time for other communities to lead again, is campaigning for BBI law reforms alongside Mr. Odinga. And Deputy President William Ruto skipped yesterday's Kabarak function, saying he wasn't invited. And he said leadership is not about communities, but individuals, and BBI is not a priority and is also not in Jubilee Party's manifesto. Gentlemen.
Yeah, Leader, maybe allow me to maybe say a word about the same. Yes. You see, as they say that it's like the end of the Uhuruto. To me, I feel like this end actually came immediately after the 2018 handshake, because ever since the handshake, we've seen things moving from bad to worse in terms of relationship between the Uhuru and Ruto, and I don't think this the cause of the problem is actually not on the side of Ruto. To me, I feel like it is a decision that was made by President Uhuru Kenyatta and his handlers, and they felt maybe uncomfortable to have Ruto, especially in terms of succession, because you know very well that from the time they started the handshake, you know, the original handshake was between Uhuru and William Ruto. And when they had the handshake in Nakuru, they agreed that they are going to have an agenda to move this country forward.
Yes.
And they agreed that one of the main agenda will be ensuring that there is peace in the whole nation. So when you see what has been happening from the 2017 general election, you feel like somebody somewhere betrayed the other. And it is obvious because, you know, I don't think this is a plan. This did not happen by coincidence. I think this must have been a plan by the so-called systems. You know, they always like talking about the system and deep state because they are always ahead of the Kenyans in terms of planning. Like when if you go back to the year 2002 when we had President Kibaki, Uhuru Kenyatta vying against Mwai Kibaki.
Right. The
so-called deep state and the system knew very well when they are introducing Uhuru Kenyatta, they were preparing him. They knew he might not win, but it's like they are preparing him for succession in 2000 after Kibaki. Now when they were bringing Uhuru Kenyatta in 2013. The succession plan was very clear.
Yes.
And from where I sit, I feel like they had a candidate in mind who was not William Ruto. Unfortunately, some of these games that happened in the year 2017 general election, where you see some leaders, some people who are alleged to be the projects of the deep state. An example of Peter Kenneth, who was introduced into presidential race in 2013, was unable to capture the gubernatorial seat in Nairobi.
Okay.
Which I think that is, if I look at the game plan, it's like they were trying to prepare him to come and serve in the national platform.
Well, hold it right there, and let's loop in PMG. PMG. Interesting to note that you know, there is this argument that is rife that probably all this was played so that DP Ruto can be barred from proceeding or ascending to presidency. But you've been here long enough, I'd want to believe, during the Moi reign and the Kenyatta reign, the senior Kenyatta reign, and how they worked with President Moi. While it could be true that there is the hand of the deep state, as they call it, do you agree with the sentiments of President Uhuru Kenyatta in terms of how Moi handled his leader then, handled the issues of the country then, in comparison to how the DP is doing it today?
Let me first of all warn Kenyans that are listening to me. There haven't been any single president who have determined the successor in the history of Kenya. Kenyatta did not.
Okay.
In fact, the opportunity Moi got was that he went into the office after death.
Yes.
And that was able to manipulate and took care of himself together with Jojo in the 3 months period. So it is nonsense to continue talking about Uhuru trying to determine who is going to become the because even Kibaki did not. Kibaki was floating Mudavadi. You remember when Uhuru Kenyatta went to Kasarani and said Satani amekuja. Kuna shetani alikuwa amekuja. When he was persuaded not to step down for Mudavadi. So I am saying people must, we are part of history.
Neither did Moi himself do that. He wasn't successful. He fronted Kenyatta. And when Kenyatta rejected, Kikuyus rejected Kenyatta. Yes.
And Moi realized that. until he almost gave up the campaigns. At one time he went into Machakos. He was almost heckled. So that and I am happy for the statement made by by Ruto. At one time Ruto said, I don't want somebody's support. At another time he was told by Kavogo, hakuna mtu atakupatia kiti nyumbani, ondoka ukatafute kiti. You see what I'm talking about? So that Kenyans want our children, our scholars, our university students to believe that any president can create another president. That's a mistake.
Okay.
Number 2, handshake was rejected. The first day, I personally rejected it.
Okay.
When it was done on 9th March, 10th I was in one of the stations. I said, hii kitu itatoka hapa, hatuwezi kunyonyesha. But you know the Kikuyu say, whatever will come, we will suckle. But I told people the thing that is going to come out of this handshake
will not be able to.
Yes, and I also said managing the expectations. Uhuru and Raila must manage the expectations, the outcome.
Yes.
What was the Kalenjins expecting of the handshake? What were the Luos expecting? What were the Kikuyus expecting? And the management of that, we have not seen it. All what we have seen is a creation of a situation and circumstances that are going to make 2022 a level playing ground. Let me tell you something, madam, which I'm never afraid of saying. Ruto is likely to benefit from BBI than anybody else.
Oh yeah?
Ruto is likely to benefit from the structure of government than anybody else.
But why would
Let
he
me tell you
counter
something.
that?
Let me tell you.
He does not have advisors that can...
Let me tell you something.
Yes.
Right now, he can only offer another community deputy president.
Okay.
If he chooses, and if BBI passes, Ruto will be able to offer maybe Western deputy, maybe Coast Prime Minister, maybe Ukabani deputy prime. Let me tell you, the structure is supposed. In fact, if you ask me, he may become stronger than even Raila. What are you to watch nonsense that is being...
Now, in this case, as president?
As president, yes.
But just how powerful will
number
that
one,
be then?
He's not being stopped from vying for the presidency.
Yes.
Number 2, he's not being stopped from using the BBI results. Let me tell you, both of them, Raila and Ruto, will have very difficult time to fight each other.
Okay.
And I am predicting you may end up having a rerun.
Oh yeah?
Yes.
That is after a referendum?
There is nothing in the BBI that disadvantages Ruto. Let us not cheat our people, continue cheating our people, and going all over, and creating tension, and also misleading the public on the ground. It's a very big mistake.
Acknowledging this,
what I'm saying,
yes,
you rejected BBI.
Yes.
And I complain heavily to the Central Kenya politicians who did not participate in the BBI. Because maybe they could have influenced the outcome. Number 2, BBI now was transformed into Bomas 1. It went for validation. The verified BBI came back in October. Then it was released now for constitutional process to start. They have continued fighting BBI, not fighting the content. I am looking at the primary school debate. Proposers and opposers. You remember the debates we used to be in?
Yes.
That is when we started with BBI, proposers and
opposers.
Yeah. Then we graduated a little bit to the secondary school debate. You see? Yeah. Where we used to do compensation. We used to say compare and contrast. We are now heading to university debate. Critical
thinking.
Yeah. Analyze critically. Philosophize critically. You see? Where are we right now? We are at a situation where issues must start being discussed. immediately after the county governments. You have to analyze issue. And if you listen to Ruto yesterday, he has now coming up talking, he has almost stopped the Hustler Nation narrative. He's talking about issues. Yesterday he talked about where are we going to get extra money.
Yes, he's always been talking about that. Yes.
No, he came out for the first time.
For the first time, confidently yesterday. Of this, but then of course he's challenged the mechanisms before.
No, not mechanisms. That
are likely to.
And also, let me tell you, I have also talked to you about intellectual dishonesty and hypocrisy. Yeah. Because the current release of the government is about 30 for devolution.
Yes.
Towards countries. If they are, you listen to Kenyans listening to people who don't want to think. You continue telling Kenyans, if we cannot give 15%,
how can we manage to give
35? Yet the country is giving over 30.
All right, hold it right there.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
You come out to criticize what is in the Kenya Gazette. Last night I was looking at the Kenya Gazette of the rice distribution.
Yes.
And compared with the national, it was 33%. There have never been 15%.
It's always 30.
Yes.
Well, the biggest problem has been the delay of disbursement of this particular
Talk about
funds.
the delay.
But not focus much on the amount.
At the disbursement.
All right, hold it right there. Allow me to take a
That's why I'm saying we must say no to intellectual dishonesty in this country. Especially for young men who have gone to the university.
We're taking a short break and then we'll be coming back with more.
You are watching TV 47. Agriculture being the engine of economic growth in Kenya. Richer Fields aims to educate, entertain, and take you round the world of rich fields when it comes to matters agriculture and agribusiness.
It's 800 shillings per kg. Where? Almost 100% profit.
We take you to the world of organic living.
Some people say organic is boring. It's actually not boring.
Strawberry farming and so much more. Richer Fields coming soon on TV 47. On the grind, we bring you different entrepreneurs who give the story of their businesses with love and passion.
I'm a musician forever. This is something that is inborn.
It excites me each day. It's a field that has always excited me.
Because when you show love to your business, it will show love to you.
The most rewarding bit of being a photographer is seeing a bride able to see her images of her wedding and evoke emotion in her and just relive the moment once again.
Get to hear these stories and so much more every Monday at 7:30 p.m. Pain, discomfort, and sleepless nights. These are just but a few of the things we go through on a daily that deteriorate our health. Body Garage is here to remind you on how to love and care for your body's health.
Finding our balance. Don't worry, you'll fully come back again.
Self-care and love is the best gift you can give. Tune in every Thursday at 7:30 p.m. On Coffee with Movie, we bring you great testimonies from amazing personalities.
Links Road, Nyali, near the Mamba Roundabout. Accommodation at the Nyali Golf.
Agriculture being the engine of economic growth in Kenya. Richer Fields aims to educate, entertain, and take you round the world of rich fields when it comes to matters agriculture and agribusiness.
It's 800 shillings per kg.
Where?
Almost 100% profit.
We take you to the world of organic living.
Some people say organic is boring. It's actually not boring.
Strawberry farming, and so much more. Richer Fields, coming soon on TV 47. On the grind, we bring you different...
You have room to think, room to play, room to recharge.
Agriculture being the engine of economic growth in Kenya. Richer Fields aims to educate, entertain, and take you round the world of rich fields when it comes to matters agriculture and agribusiness.
It's 800 shillings per kg. Where? Almost 100% profit.
We take you to the world of organic living.
Some people say organic is boring. It's actually not boring.
Strawberry farming, and so much more. Richer Fields, coming soon on TV 47.
Kaluma King ni shwari.
Agriculture being the engine of economic growth in Kenya. Richer Fields aims to educate, entertain, and take you round the world of rich fields when it comes to matters agriculture and agribusiness.
It's 800 shillings per kg. Where? Almost 100% profit.
We take you to the world of organic living.
Some people say organic is boring. It's actually not boring.
Strawberry farming, and so much more. Richer Fields, coming soon on TV 47. On the grind, we bring you different entrepreneurs who give the story of their businesses with love and passion.
I'm a musician forever. This is something that is
Nanyuki,
inborn.
a few minutes drive from Nanyuki town near Olpajeta Concert.
Agriculture being the engine of economic growth in Kenya. Richer Fields aims to educate, entertain, and take you round the world of rich fields when it comes to matters agriculture and agribusiness.
It's 800 shillings.
100 by 100 plot of land. Legal fees.
We take you to the world of organic living.
Some people say organic is boring. It's actually not boring.
Strawberry farming, and so much more. Richer Fields, coming soon
Saturday.
on
Visit
TV
our office.
47. On the grind, we bring you different entrepreneurs who give the story of their businesses
It is
with
limited,
love,
pride, and affordable.
I'm a musician forever. This is something that is inborn.
It excites me each day. It's a field that has always excited me.
Because when you show love to your business, it will show love to you.
The most rewarding bit of being a photographer is seeing a bride able to see her images of her wedding and evoke emotion in her and just relive the moment once again.
Get to hear these stories and so much more. TV 47, the home of untold stories. Pain, discord, and secrecy.
Yeah, we still are going on with the conversation, and we're back on air. Yes, PMG. We still were discussing what it is that you see, right on the screens, and now we are on the papers. I think we have expounded some more on that. We've gotten the view of PMG and also Julius. And Julius, we come back to you, and we just get briefly on this before we get into the topic of the day. I think it's only fair that we discuss this. Kenya lost 330 million in football Tony scandal, and I think it's technically what it is that the senior was talking about in regards to corruption and how best we can be able to deal with this. The Sonko saga is still ongoing, and so much so the coming in of the ICC and how it handles the African issues. I'll allow you to wind up on this one as we get to now delve into the conversation of the day.
Yeah, Linda, I want to say something about this thing. PMG has just talked about intellectual dishonesty, which I strongly support. And that is why I'm saying sometimes we don't have just to argue like we cannot be in a position to analyze the politics of the day in a good way, because you don't need to be a genius to know the motive or even the objective of this handshake. You know, right from the conception, the way they brought in the handshake, you realize that the same dishonesty is very evident, because you know, after the general election, we had issues or cases of violence in the country. The question is, what was the cause of the same? It's just because somebody somewhere could not agree with the institutions that have been given the mandate to conduct the election. So what you have seen is that instead of now the president now taking charge and making sure that the institutions that have been given the mandate of securing our nation take charge and secure the people's properties, what they have done, they have simply gone and looked for the brother, the big brother, Raila Odinga, had the handshake without consulting anybody, including the running mates of themselves, then came up with the handshake. This handshake is now the one that has brought us to these problems of the BBI, because I take them like problems, because it has made this country go back now to a lot of noise.
Hold it right there. Why do you consider the BBI problem? And I have the constitutional amendment bill on screen that is now what is at the level of the counties, and the members of county assemblies are debating on. And I have the actual document, that is the report as presented to us sometimes in November. This is the actual report, and off air you have accepted the fact that the BBI holds positive things for the people of Kenya, 90% positive things and 10% that are not positive. Why then do you look at this document as trouble, yet it has 90% of positivity for us?
Okay, Linda, I want to be very clear. Of course, I did not say that on air, but I want to say it on here, that the recommendations given by the BBI in the BBI report, some of them are quite good. The problem I have is on the matters of how are we implementing these things. And then the challenge I have with this thing is that we are now dealing so hard, we are concentrating so much on the minor issues which do not necessarily have much benefit to actually have no benefits to the Kenyan. I'm trying to say that we need to focus on our JICO. Because if you look, for example, at the report, there are those recommendations about something like the Youth Commission. You see, the recommendation that we have a Youth Commission does not need to subject us to the referendum. And that is why we are saying such proposals, they need to be implemented even yesterday, without necessarily going to the referendum. And by the way, for your information, you need to remember that we already have what we call the National Youth Council in place. And I'm wondering, what is it that the National Youth Council cannot do if empowered, that needs us to go back now and bring the Youth Commission?
Okay.
I think the most important thing should be strengthening the already existing institutions. If you look at something like the moratorium for the youth about the help, you don't need to go to tell us that you need the BBI for us to implement that one. As we talk now, I saw in yesterday's papers, they are telling us about over 14 million youth are already in CLB and are in huge debts. You have seen that even today's papers, they are talking about even the auctioneers are not able to sell their properties. Yes. Because the economic status of the Kenyans has worsened. So what we are trying to say is, we don't need to go all this route of BBI and referendum for us to ensure that we have and we empower the young people. All we need is to make sure that we implement what we already have. If you look at an example of the agriculture sector, which I've always been talking about, you know, some people are trying to lie to Kenyans that for us to have better pay for the tea, for the coffee, for the daily products and all that, we need to have BBI and to pass it in the referendum. to the contrary, I believe that is a total lie. Because what we need is just to have legislative, we just need to take charge in terms of legislative moves. For example, what we have been seeing, we have seen members of parliament presenting what we call the GML proposals in parliament. Instead of the principles of BBI pushing the members of parliament to push this, they are now bringing the referendum, the BBI referendum.
It is a constitutional process that want to assume.
No, but listen, Linda, here, you need to understand the difference between the BBI report and the BBI amendment bill.
Yes.
Because what we have been saying is good, part of it is the BBI report.
Yes.
Because it's the one that is giving us proposals.
But the amendment bill revolves around that.
The amendment bill is about dealing with those things that we are saying are not good in the BBI report.
Is it not about the constitutional process? And I mean, well, let's allow PMG.
What does the constitutional amendment bill talk about? One is about the executive. Kenyans are very bitter with expanding the...
Let's allow PMG to come. We have the bill right here, and we have it. It's about 45
We are going to talk about it.
No, you know
we are going to talk
about
number one,
this amendment bill.
Please.
The objective of
let's allow PMG to come in because we have... So at least...
One of the items in the 9-point agenda for the BBI was sharing of wealth and resources. Sharing of wealth and resources, the coffee industry came and complained. The avocado industry came and complained. The youth came and complained. The employed university graduates came and complained. The informal sector called HASA also came and complained. Where is it? That complaint was consolidated into policy. If you got the report of the BBI, you will meet policy on every single one of this. From policy now, it has come to the 11A. This is what Ruto was actually passionate about. In agriculture, why is it in the amendment bill? Because it came from the people. Why from the people? It will now, the debate in Parliament, the neighboring debates, if you look at the law there, 11A.
Yes.
At the bottom
11A, economy and shared prosperity.
Yes, that was an agenda in BBI. If you look down there, it says the necessary legislations to implement this shall be lead the final part there.
Parliament shall enact legislation to give full effect to this article.
Yes. So Parliament will not go and say we have created an agricultural act. Full stop. What will be the content of that agricultural act? SMEs. The Parliament will not sit down and say we have passed SMEs for Juakali. They will go back to the opinion of the people from the ground. What are the terms of reference for the Youth Commission? It is because there will be in every constituency a business incubation center. There will be in every constituency entrepreneurship training. There will be in every constituency funds set aside. There will be in every constituency discovery of projects that can be done. That is the work. That is you.
We have seen this also. We still have some of these that we're talking about.
They are not there,
but they have not been well implemented.
Let me tell you. Like now, do you know something? Just a moment. I have already filed a petition in Parliament myself. Yes. 15-point petition. One of the petitions I filed before the BBI on 2nd October is the creation of business village projects. That every project, why shouldn't we have a project in avocado? That is our undertaking in Kandara. Why should we have, we have got onions, we have got potatoes. I have already, in Parliament, I have already said, appealed to Parliament, they approve 1 trillion shillings to disburse to the youth in Kenya. My argument is and has been, why would you borrow to make roads and not to borrow? You see, that is a debate, not for but the creation and structures of that has to be created. Now, you see what I mean?
Yes.
You can
allow him to ask your question to you.
This is what I was now. I'm actually not able to understand from PMG and,
Yes.
and the proponents of BBI. I want somebody to tell me this. What is that in
Not
this new
BBI. This
No,
is not BBI.
This is the
amendment,
that
the
culminates
bill,
from
Yes.
bill. I'm asking this.
Yeah.
You are answering a question before you listen to it. I'm saying this. What is that we have? What is the deficiency in our constitution that makes it hard for the current executive to implement that things like the youth incubation centers? What is that in the 2010 constitution that stops the president from creating a youth
commissions are created in the constitution.
No.
Yes.
They are.
No, it doesn't have to be called commission. What is that is making the executive not empowered?
Let us go through the BBI. Because he's trying to divert.
No. Let's
the
talk
content.
about this shared prosperity, Madam Leader.
Yes.
If you look at Article 11, the one that we have just talked about,
11A, yes.
The 11A,
yes,
that they want to add in the constitution. If you go to the actual constitution, the one we have 2010 constitution, Article 11 talks about culture, and it tells us that the parliament shall enact laws to ensure that communities get they get something from the if you use the culture to market our country.
Okay.
A good example is Maasai community. We have been using the Yarigalians to market our country. The question is, it is now 10 years down the line.
This is economics, not culture. This is wealth.
That is just an example.
I'm giving an example of this Article 11.
Okay.
What I'm asking is, even if it has been put in the constitution that we need to give back to that community that we are using their culture to market our country, we still do not have.
I think in a nutshell, they have not much. Yes.
Read,
so even this one, the economy.
Report on BBI on shared resources there.
No, before
you do that, let us read what people said.
Yes.
Yeah.
On this one.
Yeah.
But even before we get there,
no.
But I think his main concern then would be, we already have the 2010 constitution.
He has not mentioned which section and which article.
I've talked about Article 11.
Yes,
on culture. That's the constitution.
But we are talking about
no. It is Article 11
about the 2010 constitution, and he's equating that to this.
Read what the people said.
It is the Article 11.
He does not represent the people.
Article 11.
Read what the people said.
Article 11A is trying to amend the Article 11 that we already have in the constitution.
What did the Kenyans say? You know, these people are pretending to be Kenyans.
The problem.
Read what Kenyans said.
But just how many Kenyans say this? That is also one thing that needs to be asked.
Let him first of all. Let him first of all disagree with what you said.
So let PMG.
Let him first of all disagree with what people said about sharing of the wealth.
I'm one of the people who shared.
Then why don't you want us to read
the task force?
Why don't you want us to read?
You cannot read incorporated.
Why don't you want us to read first?
Allow us to have some order. Were the views incorporated that you presented?
Actually, most of them have not. And this is why I'm saying I have a problem with this document because what we are saying, what we are doing now, we are trying to create, it's like creating a bridge where there is no river. Okay. Why are we talking about amending the constitution? Yet, what we need is full implementation of 2010 constitution. A very good example they are using, PMG and his team, they are telling us about creation of new constituencies.
Madam,
if you look at Article 89 of this constitution, of 2010 constitution,
of the current constitution,
it gives the IEBC mandate to review the boundaries.
It limits constitutions to 290.
Exactly.
They are limited in the constitution.
And there's need to expand
to expand, you must remove that clause.
But just how much do we need the expansion? How much more? Julius, let me ask this question. How much more do we need then the expansion? And we look at this as though it's not.
That is why I'm saying the country,
the baggage that we keep talking about.
We will not go anywhere.
Let's allow PMG to talk.
We will not go anywhere.
When he is interjecting without giving me a chance.
Because you want to defeat reason and common sense.
Okay. And you want to run away from the
Let me tell you something. Number one.
Okay.
Read item 1 of the Constitution or the BBI. It talks about inclusivity.
Now this is now the report itself.
Yes. Read what did the people say about inclusivity. Yeah. Because you cannot talk about the BBI, this draft.
These are the proposed.
Yes. What do the people say?
Constitution reforms following the analysis. Chapter 2, Constitution.
You are talking also about the constitutional reforms.
Chapter 3 on citizenship to strengthen the national ethos by outlining the responsibilities of citizens. This is what it is supposed to do. Chapter 7 of representation of the people to resolve issues of divisive elections arising from electoral processes. The proposed amendments seek to enhance the transparency and fairness of representation during the electoral systems, reform the management structure on the Independent Elections and Boundaries Commission, promote electoral competition based on ideas, values, and our shared humanity, rather than the common enmity or identity politics that have denied our electoral process or cycles to date. Now, promote gender equity in governance and implementation of the provision of Article 81 and 89(7)(b) of the Constitution, which mandate that the electoral system is to comply with the universal principles of fair representation, equality of the vote, and there are a couple of
there, fair representation.
Yes, fair representation for that matter. I'm just trying to pick bits by bit so that we do not waste so much time. And what else is there that this is on the judiciary, 11 on devolved government. I guess that is more on what it is that the people would have loved for us to have.
Now read the BBI, the draft bill.
The bill.
Yeah. Read citizen responsibility.
Yes, citizen responsibility is here. This constitution recognizes the responsibility of a citizen as key to building a prosperous, fair, and secure nation. Every citizen has a responsibility: 1, to cultivate national unity on the basis of respecting Kenya's ethnic, intellectual, economic, and cultural diversity; promote and protect the well-being of the family, including respect for their parents and elders; practice ethical conduct and combat corruption; fulfill parental responsibilities towards their children.
Stop there.
Okay.
Why is there a proposal that children respect their parents and elders?
An elder should fulfill their responsibilities.
Because in the BBI, there was citizen responsibility. The children have become so irresponsible, parents the same. So in that citizen responsibility, you find in the Constitution, there will be you as a parent, compulsory responsibility. And then there will be you as a child, your citizen responsibility. And that is where we went back to African traditions, respect of the parents, and you see what I mean? Yeah.
So in this case, all right.
Because when you read that now, citizen responsibility, and you go to the report, you find what people are concerned with. They are concerned that
cemented.
They are concerned that our children are now on drugs. They are concerned that our children are now in Changa. They are concerned that the children are killing their mothers and what have you. They are concerned at the decay of the family.
The moral of the family.
That one came from the public representation.
So now, Linda,
is that in the old constitution?
Ideas now.
That has not been cemented in the previous one.
No.
Let me.
So the BBI in this case is coming in to cement what it is.
I am asking myself.
Just how much more would it be?
Now I'm asking myself, if I'll be a member of parliament, making the law for children to respect their, what would I be looking at? What will be the question of abusing your mother?
What will back up the...
Yes. That will be depend on the capacity of the MP you take to parliament.
Okay, now let's go to more pressing matters.
Yes.
That is not pressing matter.
And I hope he gives
drugs addiction.
Now, Madam Leader.
Yes.
I want you to look at the Constitution, Article 89, the one that I've just talked about before I was rudely interrupted.
Okay.
If you look at Article 89 of the Constitution, 1, tells us about the number of constituencies we must have in Kenya.
Yes.
290 constituencies.
Not one extra.
The reason why the Constitution had limited that number to 290 constituencies, they were trying to cure the problem we used to have during the Moi era, when the president would wake up one day and say that I've given you another constituency. Like it happened in Murang'a one time, when Michuki and Kamau were fighting, Daniel Moi went and divided Kagema into two, Mathioe and Kangema. So with our 2010 constitution, they have made sure that they have Article 89 of the Constitution.
Yeah. It remains to 290.
What they have simply done, they have made sure that they are shielding Kenyans from the bloating of the parliament, which increases the wage bill, on the other hand. So then it goes ahead and talks about the universal suffrage. about the equal representation, equality of votes. If you go to that to the Constitution, it tells us very clearly about the principle of universal suffrage, which talks about the equality of vote. And that is why it goes ahead and gives mandate to IEBC.
Let me read that one.
Yes.
89.2. The Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission shall review the names and boundaries of constituencies at intervals of not less than 80 years and not more than 12 years.
Yes.
But any review shall be completed at least 12 months before the general election of members of parliament.
So that tells you this.
Let me tell you something.
No,
just a moment.
This tells you, let me finish. That tells you that we don't need to go for referendum to increase the number of constituencies.
Next time, madam,
because
you will give us minutes.
The constitution is actually,
you give me 5 minutes, I talk, then you give 5 minutes.
From expanding, from increasing the number of constituencies.
Back to Article 89.1, there shall be 290 constituencies for the purposes of the election of the members of the National Assembly, provided for Article 97.
What is in the BBI?
You have to make it brief.
You have also to
listen. The reason why we are being told that we need to add 70 constituencies, especially in Mount Kenya, we are being told is because we want to increase the amount of the amount that the constitution.
Madam, we are now debating the bill.
Given the mandate.
We are debating the content.
Been given the mandate to change
and
the
he has not.
So even the constituencies like we have in Mandela, which have
make it now, so that PMG can come in.
Even those constituencies, they will have to.
Would you keep quiet, my friend?
But now wait a minute.
Yes. So number one, madam,
what we need to change is
read the Constitution.
What we need to change.
Read the Constitution.
Gentlemen, we might not be able to achieve.
That's why I'm saying because he doesn't want us.
That we're going to take.
You
have to make it.
This is a taka group. We don't want reason.
When we have a roll of noise here.
Wait a minute. Let me ask this question. Because the conversation is here with us. PMG argues that we are looking at the we cannot look at the BBI report without referring to the Constitution.
And just a moment.
Let him come.
Just a moment.
But then you have
let him come in.
My friend,
you have to give me time as I'm giving.
Who told you that shouting at me you are going to get credit anywhere?
That is why I can't shout.
And you cannot going to get marks from the people.
It's exactly 7:30, so I'm afraid we might have to close the show.
Number one.
All right.
The Constitution has not given the remit of people. You see, Roiro has got 200,000 voters. And it is one constituency.
Sorry.
The electoral boundaries may expand or reduce boundaries.
Yes.
But the Constitution never gave remit. That's why you see a constitution with 20,000 voters and another one with 200. The new constitution now, amendment, the remit of any constituency shall be 135. That is why in Kandara we have got 100,000 votes, but we could not make an extra constituency. Any constituency in Kenya that had less than 135,000 people was disqualified. The 135 voters could not acquire. The remit now is that for you to get an extra constituency, you must be more than 135,000.
And that in that case, then we'll have even more and more cropping up because whatever it is, and you've seen some leaders complaining that this is happening on this side.
You see
why is it not happening on this side?
Let me tell you. Do you know what happened?
Yeah.
The argument in the BBI is that the constituencies that are even 20,000, like Duare's constituency, they are not going to be reduced because that will create constitutional chaos. But from now on, let us remit. Immediately you exceed 135. Then
you get a new one.
Yes.
Then what happens?
That remit, just a moment, that remit was never provided for. That's why Moi was able to create constituencies left, right, and center. The complaint was from the public in Roiro. We have got so many people in Roiro, yet our budget is 100,000 million.
But even with this budget, we lack accountability.
The problem, accountability.
Now that will be counted on what it is that you speak of addressing corruption.
Let me ask you something. Do you know something?
Yes.
Uhuru has got only 1/4 of this government.
Yes.
Number one, Moi government has never gone away. He recruited succession principles. To date, we still have people.
No, let's
please.
To the
You must.
Yeah?
I will go out.
Make it brief.
Let me tell you, Moi left his legacy and people. Kibaki left his legacy and people. Raila, during the coalition government,
also did the same.
Yeah, did the same.
Yes.
Ruto has got half of the government. In fact, half of the 11 ministries are made up of Kalenjins.
So in this
so
case
that
then,
you see, if you own 11 ministries, then the directors, even the sweepers, go to any ministry in this country. Even drivers belong to a tribe. That's why I'm saying Uhuru has got no control of what belongs to Ruto, and has no control what belongs to.
And so you think the BBI will bring control to the next?
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
A system of accountability, which is, if you read citizens' responsibility.
Yes.
Yeah. And if you go to chapter on corruption, yeah, it has given measures.
Honestly declare their incomes to lawful agencies and pay prescribed taxes and duties, respect private property and protect public property, promote the unity and dignity of Africa. The responsibilities set out in clause apply equally, that is in clause 2, where appropriate to non-citizens. I think that's a bit different on matters. Corruption is a bit right on top.
Yes.
But then again, time would not allow us to go through
and
that.
Then
we will next
you
Friday.
Move to this bill. Yeah.
Yes.
Item 50.
No, leader, I think
just go to item 50.
But allow him to say something meanwhile as we go to item 50. Yes.
Exactly what you are seeing here is what will happen after we pass the BBI. Even if you hear we are being promised to youth commission, Wazes will never allow us to even make point. Anyway, let me go back to what I was saying.
Wazes safer than young men on the top of the trees.
Yeah, so what I'm saying, Madam Leader, understand something here. Let us make people understand. Because when we shout, sometimes we don't make the point.
Just go to item 50.
When we talk about
the whole of item 50.
Let's allow him to finish and then we come to item 50. Yes.
Can I proceed now?
Yes, please.
I'm saying, when we are talking about increasing representation, when we have that mandate by IBC to review the boundaries, it will not be limited to only the constituencies with huge population. Even those with less population, because you remember when they are doing the boundaries in those years,
the boundaries will be limited to 135.
They use the census.
They will not
allow
do
him to speak. PMG, we have to have order.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can I proceed now?
Yes, please, and make it brief.
I told you they have not read the BBI.
Every time I'm talking, you are telling me to make
they
it
talk
brief
with me without reading the BBI.
PMG.
Okay, let me go back.
Allow him to.
To what I was saying. When we are talking about the boundaries, what I was saying is 2009 census was used to create these boundaries. And that 2009 census was manipulated by the minister and the team who were there, and that was Iwikri for Paranya, under the leadership of Raila Odinga. Now, the constitution, the census that we are supposed to use should be the recent one.
Yes.
So it means when we are doing the review of the boundaries, it simply means those boundaries, those constituencies with less population will still be protected, but the boundaries will change. It will increase. What I'm saying is, we are being hoodwinked when we are being told that our additional constituencies will add something to us.
Okay.
Because remember, national government CDF is not in the constitution.
It is already.
It has
read Article 89A.
It has been.
It is. Read there. It is already there. CDF.
You will have your time.
It is constitutionalized.
No wonder you don't get votes in Kadara. I'm saying this.
Because I have got my mind is right there.
Okay. Well, this.
Listen here, Madam Leader. I'm saying the national government constituency development fund is not anchored in the constitution.
But then again,
not even been.
It is here.
It
is now here.
No, we're not talking about this.
Read
He's talking about the 2010. He's talking about the 2010
even
constitution.
In the BBI, it has not been anchored in the constitution.
I am saying, read 50 from 203
this is
to 207.
You
to 207 because it is there.
This is 50 on corruption.
Yes.
and this is
Read
the
there.
amendment bill.
Just
Article 203
read,
of
just
the
read.
Constitution. But his argument is contrary to what it is that is incorporated on this.
Read
And
the whole of
the
it.
Constitution amendment in clause 1 by inserting that is Article 203 of the Constitution is amended in clause 1 by inserting the following new paragraphs immediately after paragraph K and now 1, the need to eradicate corrupt practices and wastage of public resources, the need to ensure that attainment of the economic and social rights guaranteed under Article 43.
Now read now
the average amount of money allocated per person to a county with the highest allocation does not do what? Exceed 3 times the average amount
that is one shilling
with the allocation or the lowest allocation.
Go on down.
He was reading that to
go down.
To count.
Go down
I have
there.
a right of reply, my friend.
There is 207 there.
206 is here.
Read 206.
Article 207 of the Constitution is amended by inserting the words a county assembly fund, and immediately after the words the establishment of. The Constitution is amended by inserting the following new articles immediately after Article 207, and these ones are being talked about. Ward Development Fund.
Now,
go down.
You want us to discuss CDF?
Are you going as per PMG?
Not as per PMG, but
by the bill.
We have to counter this.
I'm telling you already, the CDF was never in the Constitution. Now it is in the Constitution. I talk about international dishonesty and abortion. Why doesn't it Constitution?
Wait a minute. Have you gone through this document?
Exactly.
Have you gone through it?
Even now, you have gone through it, isn't it?
We're still going through it.
CDF is there. CDF is there.
Where?
It is there. Go down there.
Have you gone through this document?
Yes, and
I'm telling you, CDF is there.
Provide for national government constituency development.
It is there.
Hold it right there, gentlemen.
Try to look for it.
I will allow everyone to go through this document, read this document, and then we come back with the conversation. Come on Friday.
But we cannot. I have read.
But we cannot come.
That's why I'm telling you.
Gentlemen, time is not on our side.
No way I can come and
you see, you cannot continue. You are shouting Kenyans. You are telling people hustlers, and you are misleading Kenyans.
Gentlemen, we cannot continue with this conversation sadly because we do not allow ourselves to have a proper conversation. Remember, the people are watching, and we are here to enlighten them. So if we have to proceed with this, and that should be on Friday, we need to have order next time.
And then we open.
But let's conclude.
And yes, we did.
Let's conclude.
Why is he not willing us
We're going through this. It is there, and we're going to look at it next Friday.
The fact of the matter
Thank you,
is not
gentlemen.
there.
PMG and Julius Njuguna.
It seems like
PMG and Julius Njuguna. Yes, we take a different conversation altogether. We lighten up the mood. The DJ is on standby, and you can be rest assured that next week